During World War II, survival didn't always depend on a rifle or bayonet. Sometimes it came down to a soldier's bare hands and just a few seconds of instinct. In the muddy camps and backline trenches, instructors began teaching a brutal, efficient self-defense technique that could stop an attacker instantly, without weapons, without noise, and without the luxury of hesitation. It wasn't in the manuals, and it wasn't officially approved by command. It was passed quietly from sergeant to recruit, in field camps, behind supply trucks, and near campfires where experience spoke louder than regulations. This move was designed for moments when everything went wrong, when a gun jammed, ammunition ran dry, or an ambush turned to chaos. It relied on exploiting weak points of the human body, using leverage, momentum, and precision rather than strength. After 1945, the Allied nations began reviewing wartime combat manuals. Many of these field-taught methods were, deemed excessively destructive for peacetime or police use. Civilian judo and karate instructors wanted systems that promoted control and discipline, not instant incapacitation. Moves that targeted the throat, eyes or knees were quietly removed from public training. Fairbairn's original manuals were heavily redacted. Even within military circles, only elite units retained access to the full spectrum of wartime techniques. For regular forces, a softer, sport-based approach replaced them, safer for training, but far less practical in actual combat. Still, veterans carried the old lessons with them. Some police officers and survival instructors continued to teach the camp method well into the 1960s, especially in countries like Canada and Australia, where many ex-servicemen served as defence trainers. In their eyes, this wasn't brutality. It was realism. They knew firsthand that when a man was cornered, there was no room for second chances. While the original wartime method was honestly too dangerous to practice in full, the underlying principles remain invaluable for anyone interested in practical defence or historical combat study. The essence of it was efficiency through simplicity. Move off the line of attack, strike the vulnerable target, and disrupt the opponent's base. For modern practitioners, this can be applied safely through controlled training drills. For example, instead of striking the throat, target the chest or shoulder to simulate the angle and motion. Practice redirecting force by pivoting your lead foot outward at a 45-degree angle. Then use a palm strike to push through the opponent's center line. Follow it with a simulated knee tap rather than a full kick. The sequence teaches balance, timing, and aggression control, the same foundations that made the wartime version so effective. Even in survival or emergency contexts, the concept of centerline control remains powerful. Whether defending against a sudden grab or breaking free from restraint, redirecting and countering from the core of your body provides both safety and leverage. It's not about fighting, it's about survival. What made this technique legendary wasn't just its effectiveness, it was what it represented. Soldiers weren't professional martial artists. They were ordinary men forced to adapt under extraordinary pressure. They learned that the difference between life and death could be decided by who acted first, who struck with intent, and who refused to freeze when panic hit. The banned self-defense trick taught one essential truth: preparedness beats strength. It wasn't about violence for its own sake. It was about survival through clarity of action. And in that sense, it remains one of the purest lessons to come out of the war. If you value real wartime ingenuity and forgotten field wisdom, subscribe to Relic Logic. Every story we share is built from history's raw edge, the tactics, tools and truths that kept men alive when theory no longer mattered. Share this episode with someone who values the unpolished side of history, because sometimes the lessons that were banned are the ones that deserve to be remembered most.